Greetings, everybody in Internet Land. My name is Troy Bernier, and I'm with the Miami International Science Fiction Film Festival. And today we have the short film Golden Shopping Arcade. We're going to have a conversation with Francesco, Neri, Ricci, Marco Sincini. I'm probably messing up their names. These three gents are from Italy, and they produce an amazing short film that you don't want to miss, no matter where you are in Planeta Terra. And let's bring them on. Here they are. Woo, woo, woo. There they are. Welcome, gentlemen. How are you today?
Hi.
Very good.
Awesome.
Great.
Awesome.
Well, thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining me. What time is it in Italy right now?
It's
9:30.
9:30. Yeah.
9:30. Okay. That's at nighttime. Oh man, that's a long time. It's only 3:30 Miami time. So real quick, here's one thing you want to do. Definitely have no problem sharing the content out to your space anywhere on YouTube or Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, or Facebook. You can share the feed, and of course, what's playing now is recorded anyway. So, but let's talk a little bit about the film here. So, tell us a little bit about, Neri, you're a screenwriter. Skino directed this amazing film, and even more amazing was the performance that you delivered, Marco. Tell us a little bit about you guys. Let's learn a little bit more about you. Starting with Marco.
Okay. Maybe it's better Neri will start, or they will start, because everything come from them. Then I will join. What do you think?
Okay, I'll start. So me and my brother, we worked together. We wrote 5 or 6 short stories that we wanted to develop into a movie, and eventually we chose Golden Shopping Arcade. And for anyone who hasn't seen it, it's a story. It's an hymn to liberty. It's a story about a guy, Marco, who works in a hospital, and he basically hates his life. He hates his job. He hates his colleagues. He hates his mother, who he takes care of. And one day he hears about a website called Golden Shopping Arcade, where it's possible to buy several stuff, including clones. So he buys a clone of himself. It's a robot clone, which he can basically command as he wants. And so he sends the clone to work. He sends the clone to take care of his mom. And things don't turn out as good as he was hoping they would, but that's a surprise for who hasn't seen the movie yet. So yeah, that's the story.
Yes, well, definitely remember that this is recorded on social media, so everywhere in the world people are going to have access to this, especially the future festivals. If you still are in the festival run, we're hoping that they see this too, right? So that's pretty interesting. It's a pretty serious story that does what science fiction is not really supposed to do, but supposed to do. It presents us with a way the world could be like if we keep going a certain direction. So you tackle some deep sociological, moral issues. And, all I could tell you, the judges were like, oh my God, the film is good, the acting. And Marco doesn't look anything like he does in the movie. So great job on the wardrobe and on the costuming, fabulous, very dark. It has a hint of a Blade Runner feel to it, like it's in that universe.
Thanks.
Universe,
Also, if we didn't have the budget for the lights of Blade Runner, still we looked for that dark mood. So we waited for the cloudy days to shoot outdoors, and Marco also helped a lot. He was amazing.
That's awesome. What inspired you to write this story? Why'd you write this story?
I think it's in part it's self-biographical because I also hate my job and not my mother and my colleagues, but honestly, I've always dreamed of having since I was a kid, because I had this friend at school when I was like 5 years old who told me his father had built a robot and he could sit in it and kind of command it, like in those manga Japanese cartoons from like the 80s. And I believed him. So every day at school, I would ask him, "Is the robot ready yet?" And be like, "No, tomorrow it's going to be ready." So I waited and I waited. And then when I was 10, I realized that he was probably bullshitting me. But I think since then, I had this thing for like, I thought that it would be cool to have your own robot that you can send around and do the stuff that you don't want to do. I think that was the main thing. And then also the fact that I love science fiction movies, like you said, Blade Runner, but also Brazil by Terry Gilliam. Anything that Philip Dick wrote, that kind of science fiction that digs into, as you said, sociological issues, philosophical issues. And so I think it's that plus the fact that usually science fiction movies are kind of expensive to make. So we knew we didn't have a big budget. So it's not like you can do Star Wars or Star Trek. So you try to make science fiction out of, and that was kind of the come si dice, the challenge.
Yes.
Was to make science fiction with little details. Like for example, we put like the ID chip under the wrist, which probably isn't even that science fiction. I guess it's going to happen sooner than we think. So it's like little details like that make you understand that it's not the present, but it's not that far from the present.
Right.
It's a dystopic future.
What'd you say, Skino?
We try to represent a dystopic future. Basically.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. It's a dystopian, a dystopian society. We could say that's one way we could say it. And
also the architecture, the outdoor architecture we found. Of the buildings of where Marco lives, that neighborhood, which is a peripheral area of Rome. And also the hospital is actually a real hospital.
That's spooky, man.
You
don't want to get checked into that place. We do note that we have people on social media talking to us. Someone in social media said, "Hey, filmmakers, that's a woman named Kathy who's another filmmaker who's watching us." Yes.
Oh, hi, Kathy.
Yes. Hi, Kathy. Yeah. So, but ask any questions, folks. If you have questions for the filmmakers, feel free to ask.
I would like to tell how I met Marco.
Yeah, please.
Basically, I'm 40 years old, so it was 16 years ago. And two friends of mine, actually a friend of mine, this girl was shooting a super low budget horror movie. And it was located in a little club on the river in Rome called Tevere. And this guy shows up dressed like a priest, but zombie. And it was Marco. So we spent the whole night together. I was actually doing backstage at the time.
Right.
I was doing second camera operator, a bit of backstage. When you start, you do a bit of everything. And they finished the shooting around 5 or 6 in the morning. And then Marco at the time didn't have a car. I can't remember. Anyway, he asked me for a lift, and I drove him home. And driving him home, we drove in front of St. Peter's, the Vatican. And the sun was rising up, and he was dressed like a priest but zombie. So I said, "Why don't you get out of the car and make a walk towards the car, and I would shoot it from inside the car with behind the Vatican." So imagine this zombie priest with behind the Vatican that arrives on the car and shakes the car. And then we just laughed, and I drove him home. Then we sent to the director this footage, and he used it as a trailer of the movie. So it was, it was so amazing. He used it as a trailer. And then And then when I read my brother's script, I thought about Marco, and but he was in my mind for many years anyway. And
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
yeah,
Oh my goodness! I have a cousin who's a Catholic priest. I gotta tell him this story.
yeah.
Oh man! Wow, that's a
Yeah.
trip. That's a trip. So
coming back to the movie, also I would like to say, like, it's right, like as they said, the dystopic world and all the environment that is the movie is developed. I as an actor, I also put my view on the point of living in that society, no? Then it is a lot of research we can say about the freedom and the limit. Is a lot of this. I was living as Carlo Nonessu, that is the character in the movie, as in a very limited world. I cannot do nothing. No, I have to tap my code for everything. I don't have money. I cannot have a girlfriend, and so and so. In the opposite way, the clone give me the possibility to unlimited freedom.
Yes.
Okay, this is very big point also for us in this society. No, is freedom sometimes sometimes we see as the main point, like the paradise and so, but it can be a nightmare.
That's
when
right.
for example we have freedom, sometimes when I have freedom, I don't want to get up in the morning, just lay in the bed till 1 o'clock, and but it's in long terms is a disaster.
Right.
Then is also a research, in my point of view, also about be conscious about the limit and the freedom. Is very big point. And of course there is also many, as a science fiction movie. Now a lot of the time science fiction give the possibility to represent also a lot of metaphysics meaning.
Right.
Like the good and the bad, the dark and the light. Right. Also in this work, for example, we can see how we are controlled, and we are controlling ourselves. We are in service to something.
Yes.
Okay. And the big freedom sometimes let us to be servant of desires, of bad stuff. That was also what Carlo Nonessu was delivering all his life at the end, when because he wasn't trained. I don't know how to say. In the movie you will see anyway, but this is also a big point, I think, of the movie. That was also funny to be part of because of this.
Yes. Yeah, that's an interesting argument. I can imagine people will say that in some countries. In the United States, of course, we don't work as much as say people they say in Japan do, but in the U.S., a lot of people work 50 hours a week. A lot of people do that. 60 hours a week.
Yeah.
So the big argument in the U.S. is we should only work 4 days a week. There's a big push for people only to work 4 days a week, 8 times for 32 hours a week. That's a very big item, big issue in the U.S. And there are studies being done on this to show that people are more productive because they have more time to live, to pay their bills, to see their families, to spend time with other people outside of work. They call it work-life balance. It's very, it's become a big issue in the U.S. But even more of that issue is, money to have money when you're off. you know, so that's become a big issue. So, once again, like I was saying initially, my initial comment was that your film touches on social issues, which is what science fiction originally, its very foundation, I don't want to say original, but its very foundation is about the discussion of issues that could become reality in the future, could become reality if we continue going down a certain path, and you did a really good job with that. Really, really good job setting this out. So let me ask you a question. Why did you, for the audience, why did you come up with the name?
This name, Golden Shopping. There's a place I did some research on. I was looking for ideas, and I found this shopping center in Hong Kong, I think, which is called Golden Shopping Computers. It's like this massive building from like the 80s, and it's basically these huge infinite galleries of small little Hong Kong shops full of like pieces of computers, keyboards. I don't know. I only saw pictures online. I haven't been there, but I imagined that the people who built that clone and who put up the website would be somewhere there, I wanted to give it that kind of dark, background, mysterious.
Yeah.
So I basically took the title and I just switched.
Well,
with computer.
We're getting real close, to this, because we don't, of course, we don't have individual people as clone. We don't have our own clones yet, but we do have a robot that cleans the floor. We have robots that clean our dishes. We have robots that mow the lawn outside. Now we have these. They do a really good job at this. We have robots that'll drive our car. So we have these robots now that do different parts of our day to day for us, giving us more freedom.
Robots doing working as doctors, like doing surgeries, like assisting doctors. Like obviously we can't, not for us, but like I know that some doctors can do surgeries from another country using these robots. Right. Super precise,
That's right. You're absolutely right. They have special tools, and they sort of like telework, where those tools allow them to operate instruments in the operating room, so they could be somewhere remotely. There. That's correct. That is correct.
I'm guessing those robots make every movement precise. So I mean, they're not completely independent yet, but I'm guessing someday they will. For like simple operations.
That is correct.
Like for cleaning your teeth, I don't know, or
no, I'm talking about, for example, when people go for like a colonoscopy, when they put the robot up the person's, all the way up that way, and it's called robotic. It's a robot that's doing it.
Like I mean.
Oh my God!
Like making love to a robot.
No. So, but anyway. So next question.
So I think it's funny also the way Marco, becomes more sure of himself when there's actually someone else going out in the world with his face, and he can control safe at home, being alone. And I don't know, I think that aspect was really interesting.
Well, yeah, a lot of things, a lot happens when, and you see this in people, you see this in people when someone no longer has to work so hard for their day to day. The adjustments that they make, sometimes, I can't speak for everybody, but sometimes those adjustments have positive effects down the line. So there's a good side to that, but there's also a secretive side to that. Because would you want everybody to know this? Would you want, your employer probably wouldn't want it. You know what I mean? So anyway, let's move on. Here's a really nice one here. And when we spoke on the phone, you were telling me that the film was at another festival, and I wanted to ask you, well, how many other festivals has the film? How is the film done on the festival circuit?
Our next festival is in Indianapolis. It's called Indie Pop.
Oh, nice.
It's I think the main event is like it's called PopCon.
Okay, it's a Comic-Con. Okay.
It's a Comic-Con, yeah, but they have all kinds of they have a movie festival within the PopCon.
That's awesome.
So unfortunately, we can't go there either because obviously from Italy it's very expensive to fly there, which is a pity, as it was not to go to Miami. But yeah, we're happy because, like as I said previously, like to us, the most important thing is that the most people possible see it in the world. So it's cool that it's been screened across the US.
Also, Europe-wise, we went to many festivals.
Oh, good. So it's been around for several months already. Okay.
Yeah. We won the Milan Short Film Festival, and then also the Menton Sci-Fi Film Festival, which is also a festival like for specific kind of movies. Neri went to the festival and he received the prize, so we were very very happy.
Did you submit to London Sci-Fi London?
No, I don't think so. It still hasn't been screened in the UK. I'm trying to get it screened like in every country in the world. So I still haven't got it to get screened anywhere in the UK. We were hoping for Ireland because we're half Irish, me and Skino. So I was hoping at least somewhere in Ireland.
There's a festival in Ireland called.
Yeah, there's a sci-fi fest. I think I sent it there. They still haven't.
There's one in Ireland called Golden. What is this? No.
Shopping arcade.
No. It's called. No. Listen. It's called the Golden Blasters. Yeah, it's the Golden Blasters Science Fiction Awards.
Wow.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, they have to accept us only because the title of the movie, then.
Of course. I don't know if they're still in existence. Let me see if they have because I know these guys. I don't know them personally, but I know of them. They've been around for a long time. I don't know how long, but they've been around for a while. The Golden.
Okay. Because there's a lot of festivals that are online festivals, and which isn't really like ideal because nobody watches online festivals, I think.
Oh no, that's not true. That's not true.
No,
that's not
but
true.
you prefer to have the movie screened like in a cinema, even if there's one person. I'd rather know that one person sat down and saw it on a big screen.
Yes.
While eating popcorn,
Absolutely. Here's the argument with this. Ever since we had the pandemic has impacted any kind of large event. So at large events, typically you would get 10,000 people to show up at a large event. As a result of the pandemic, you get a fraction of that. Now, of course, that depends on location, because in Miami, what pandemic? So, the rules for that were almost non-existent after the first 6 months or a year. Oh yeah. Whereas, say in New York or DC, places like this, they just stopped that a year ago, right? It went on hard in North Carolina. Things were shut down for years, so it drastically impacted the environment, and as a result of that, people have become so accustomed to ordering food, bring it home. They don't go out. They don't go out. So there's a significant amount of people that would rather watch watch programming on television, regardless. And the TV is 70 something image. You don't have inches, so the TV is about a meter and a half, or two meters by 1 meter is the size of the TV in a house that's only 150 square meters.
Yeah. No, that's true.
So
like people have cinema at home now. That's true.
Yeah, exactly. So we see a lot of that. So at one point we were like, okay, great, we don't have to do the virtual festival anymore, and we stopped. And I'm like, well, where did everybody go? So we turned the virtual festival back on. Turned it back on so that people can experience
Can
it.
do both. I think if you do something hybrid, it's good. But
yes,
thing is, it depends also what you're trying to do. Like, there's a lot of festivals we're just trying to get money from video makers and directors because they know that they have money to invest into this. And I get a lot of emails from festivals offering, oh, why didn't you send it to our film festival in India or in whatever? And then you find out that we screened it to our jury, which is like two guys in their bedroom, and that's it, and you never know. They actually watched it, and you just paid basically to have your movie watched by two people, which isn't really our interest.
Right. And at the end of the day, that's why I always tell folks, make sure there's a venue and make sure that they have some history. That's the only thing that you can do. I also recommend Boston. The Boston Sci-Fi Film Festival. I don't know if you've seen it to Boston, but Boston is the oldest sci-fi festival in the United States. They're closing on 50 years old, and of course, as a result, they've been in the same venue for 10, 20 years, just like London. Sci-Fi London's been in the same venue for a very long time, and these are two festivals I highly recommend. Film Quest is another one. Have you heard of Film Quest?
No, I'm writing these down.
Yeah, Film Quest, and you could also ask me to restate it. I can send you the links if I have to. But Film Quest, that's with an F. Film Quest. They're in Provo, Utah. That guy is Jonathan Martin. They put on a very, very good film festival. There's another one in Phoenix, and there's another one in Buffalo. Really good sci-fi. There are not that many real hardcore sci-fi festivals. There are not that many.
I sent it to Fantasia. It's a festival in Canada. No, in Canada.
Was that in Toronto, Canada? Okay.
I think it's Toronto and Montreal, but I think it's one of the biggest.
Yeah. There's another one.
Yeah, in a way, it helps us that the movie is a genre movie. It's a sci-fi movie, so at least we have our niche where we can. Because it's harder to get into generic festivals, obviously.
Yes.
Not everyone likes science fiction.
Well, I would also recommend Sitges, but as far as your challenge that you're going to have with festivals, your biggest challenge, which I will tell you, if you came to the fest, I would lecture you, but I will tell you here, this is about celebrating you, not lecturing you. But the length of the film is the only reason why a festival is going to push back on you. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll tell you that right now. You take 10 minutes, you shave 10 minutes off, which is kind of hard to do, but you shave 10 minutes off and you'll get into those conventional festivals.
Yeah. 30 minutes is too long, right? For short.
Your film is 29 minutes, and that is too long for most of these festivals because only the way they program their festival, their film slots. They want to fit a certain amount of films, and they don't want the films to be more than 20 minutes long, that kind of thing.
They could screen 3 movies in that same time, I'm guessing. 3 shorts.
Yeah,
they'd rather take.
Exactly. And it's only that. It's not about, it's not a strike about the quality of your work, because your film is good. Yeah. It's done very well. The cinematography, the acting, story, the props you have, it's very good. A sci-fi festival automatically has in its head, this is what I say publicly all the time, science fiction is something called world building. So when we have world building, for the first five minutes of the film, we're building the world. So that 15 minutes, you add 5 minutes, you're already at 20 minutes. The 15 minute short becomes a 20 minute short. 25 minutes short becomes so there's a tolerance. There's a sci-fi festivals have a tolerance because of that. They're supposed to. They're supposed
to. It needs more time to build the world. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Character development, props, universe. You're building this, so it's very reasonable for a short film to be, shy of 30 minutes, but more than 20 minutes. It's very reasonable. However, I have to say, I don't say this to say to people to make plenty of 30-minute short films, because let me tell you, we had so many short films that were 30-something minutes long. I'm like, what's going on? It gets a little carried away. And what will happen? Well, I can't say will, but what can happen? Filmmaker, the festival really likes your film, and you're going to get an email saying, if you could shave off 5 minutes of this, that would be really a good idea for you.
Yeah, you could probably take 5 minutes out if you really.
They'll say that.
Quite hard.
Because what will happen is, if you really wanted to be that long, why don't you just run the camera and get all of the other content and turn it into a feature?
It's just not to make it too boring, basically. Because some scenes, some scenes like a dialogue could have lasted like 6 minutes, and we cut it up to 1 minute and a half.
Right.
It's like nowadays you can't do either you're David Lynch or, Netflix also introduced this new rule that a scene doesn't have to last more than 2 minutes, because then the attention goes down.
Because
we're just, the everything's getting faster. So basically,
because the humans that subscribe sit and binge all day long.
Exactly.
Depression is a very serious thing. So, what were the challenges? You mentioned before about, you shot during certain times, and because of those times you wanted to have that dark feel. What were some of the other challenges that you experienced?
I think this is Kino's question.
Well, I think for me, the real challenge was to produce this movie,
Right.
To deal with a budget that wasn't, super high, and yeah, basically when you're the director and the producer at the same time, people love you and hate you from another side. You have to ask favors to everyone when you're independent. So
yes.
But also you have to respect people, so you can ask favors up to a certain limit. So you have to understand which is that limit and keep everyone on the boat.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, it was not easy. Also, I have to say, like Schino did a great job also to collect the crew, the cast, because all actors that are in the movie are great actors that super skills. They are working in Italian movie, international movie, and was of course. The problem of the budget, but also we shoot also during COVID period. Then we had to stop. Like, I don't know. We shoot.
Actually, the last day of shooting was 1 day before the lockdown, which in Italy was really bad because it was the longest lockdown in the world.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Yeah, but we start one year before the last scene, something like that. It was very long period of shooting. It was not like done in 1 month. It was very long.
How long was the shooting? The entire shooting? How long did it take?
I don't remember, to be honest. I think 1 year, at least 1 year.
No, we shot like a few days every few weeks, let's say, more or less.
Yeah.
Because we had the time to reorganize and everything and change locations.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah,
Probably a total
unless
of
you have a big budget,
12 days.
the option is that you need a lot of time. So
Right. Right.
we used a lot of time. And also after we finished shooting the movie, there was the COVID and we had many, I mean, life got hard for everyone. So basically we edited the movie 1 year after we shot it. For 1 year it was just footage and it
What did
wasn't
you
edited.
what software did you use to write it, and what software did you use to edit it?
Final Cut. Actually, no, sorry. Premiere Pro.
Premiere
Yeah.
Pro. Premiere Pro. And what did you use, Neri, to write your story? Your
Final
screenplay?
Draft. No?
Final Draft, yeah.
Okay, good. Can you share an unexpected or memorable moment that left an impression on you guys during the film, during the production of the film? What happened that was so emotional you still remember to this day?
Well, I think the last day of shooting, because COVID was arrived, but nobody knew what it was exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And the last day of shooting for us, that we were used to see each other very often, meant that it was the last time we were going to see each other for maybe 1 year or something. So I remember that
it
day
was
perfectly.
probably retrospectively emotional, because I still remember the last day, the day after we shot our last day of shooting, which we had no idea was going to be the last day of shooting.
Mm-hmm.
We said goodbye to Bruno Cipriani, and the guy, he's the director of photography, and then the pandemic exploded and we were all locked at home. So only then I realized, shit, that was the last day of shooting, and we're probably never, because the thing is, this short was supposed to be not a movie but a promo for a movie. Like, the idea was to start shooting the movie from first scene to as long as we can, and then see if we could find enough money to finish it, or just make it bigger. And then since the pandemic came in, we were stopped, and so Schino and I, we started editing the movie remotely. And anyway, in the end, we decided to make a short movie out of it. But that's why, as you said, like the build up, the creating the world is very like film wise, because it's supposed to be the first 30 minutes of a movie.
Right. Okay, that's interesting. That's definitely interesting. Another question: How do you view the evolution of storytelling and filmmaking because of these that are made with these new technologies and platforms? How do you think? Do you think that it's going to make additional opportunities, or do you think otherwise?
Yeah, I was speaking some days ago with a colleague about new platforms, and in some points there are a lot of new opportunity for the actors. For example, a lot of new production is going on, and in the other way, I feel like the people is a bit annoyed about the amount of products that they deliver. And I saw now that they start to make like commercial during the movie on the platforms like Prime, Netflix, stuff like that. I was very surprised. Is not anymore like there are commercials during the movie, no?
Yeah.
And probably also because the people are not so, maybe are less customer. I don't know. Let me think about that. But anyway, it's when the quantity became so big, sometimes the quality is, can be touched.
Lower.
How to say? Yeah.
Yes.
But in terms of how do you say? In terms of funny tools, we have new words, you know, a lot different kind of acting, a lot of act without, for example, material stuff, green screen, all this kind of. We come from a cinema, especially in Italy, that is very connected with the theater, with very body language, very physical, with long scene, no, or one take. And now everything is very fast, and sometimes even with nothing real around you.
That's right. Yeah.
It's
That's right.
very, you know, and we have to you know, to be capable to ride this, you know.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. That's an interesting point that you make, and yeah, about the body language and the physical component. Skino, you can't do that, Skino. You got to turn it back on, Skino. We want to see what you're eating. You have to show us. I got to see some of this Italian food, man. Come on, come on. I got to see what it looks like. What'd you make? What'd you make?
It's pasta with asparagi and guanciale, which is the chin of the pig, and parmesan and red pepper.
That's like $30 in Miami.
I'm sorry because it's dinner time and I had a really stretched lunch, so I just started silently to start my dinner. Sorry, it was a long day.
That's fine, man. Totally good. So those are really good points, Marco. Really good points. So we're getting pushed on time here. So let me ask. Let's talk some fun stuff now. And this one it has a little joke in it. So, Star Trek or Space 1999?
I don't know what Space 1999 is, so I'm
Me
gonna
neither.
say Star Trek.
What? What?
But the old Star Trek.
Space 1999 is a British-Italian science fiction production.
Really?
What? Maybe
yes.
I thought you were gonna say Star Wars versus.
I know you did.
I'm actually watching Star Wars now with my daughter. She's 5 years old.
Good man.
I just showed her the first. Tonight she was watching the Return of the Jedi, the last one.
Yeah.
And it was really cool to rewatch them after like such a long time. And it's amazing because they're still so good. Like the scenography, the acting is a bit 70s, but it would still be a good movie today. I think still better than the.
Yeah, it would. It would. Look at this. So yeah, the Ewoks are real popular with
Ewoks. Yeah.
Yeah, the kids are gonna love the Ewoks.
Yeah.
But yeah,
what
Space 1999. Yeah, that's a big deal, man. Let me show you real quick. Well, we have we have a little bit of time here. I can show you some glam. Space. It has Italian actors too.
Is it a French production or
British Italian production? It's a British Italian production, and I'll share my screen so you can see it. Look at this. Italians in Space 1999. Had some famous Italians.
Is that like an old movie? Oh, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. It's from the late 70s. Late 70s was when they made it. I think she was a famous Italian.
Looks a bit like what's that movie? Flash Gordon kind of costume. Reminds me of Flash Gordon. Which also had an Italian actress, Ornella Muti. Is it like serious or?
Yeah, it's a series. It was on for 2 years. On for 2 years.
I don't think it's the Italian actress anyway.
Tony here, I think Tony is Italian. I'm not sure. He's from Singapore. I'm sorry. No, he's an English guy.
because a lot of Italian actors did change their names
Really?
to American. Like Terence Hill and Bud Spencer.
Yeah.
Also, do you know Lucio Fulci, the
Yes.
horror director? He made loads of horror movies in the US, and most of the actors were Ennio Morricone did the soundtrack.
Yeah. Spazio. I think this is it here. Is it? No, ITV is the British one, but this is the Italian one, RAI. See? Radio Television Italiano.
Rai, yeah.
Yep.
I've never heard of it, honestly. Maybe it has a different... Spazio 1999 forse si chiama in Italia.
Sì.
But Space 1999 is very well liked in the community and in the sci-fi community because its practical effects were really good.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, really good practical effects. It was very well liked. Here, I'll show you one little thing if I can.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of practical effects, and it's something I don't like about not only about the modern Star Wars, which are basically all CGI or whatever it's called today, and most science fiction movies today are made with, as Marco was saying, with green screens, and those old movies were all like plastic and fake blood.
Well, all I could say is that it's gotten better. It's not as bad as what some folks, as what some folks may want to take it. Like when you look at this here, this is definitely like late 60s. UFO became Space 1999. But these are all practical effects. Everything in there is solid, it's real. All real stuff, real people, real props. And with the new VFX and what we would call in a volume, The Mandalorian did a fabulous job with that. The Star Wars Mandalorian.
Oh, I haven't seen that one. I heard it's the best spin-off from Star Wars.
It's very good. It's excellent, but the Andor is even better than that. Star Wars Andor is even better than that. Like this here is inside of their spaceships that they use. They really.
It reminds me a bit of I don't know if you've seen Truffaut. He made a movie called Fahrenheit 451.
Yes.
I remember that there was these cops who were burning books, and they were also wearing those I think it was in the 70s.
Yes.
They were wearing those like super tight suits.
Yes, that was real popular back then. Like you see here, this is where they get inside the Eagle spaceship and so forth, and that's the Eagle launching and stuff. People were really excited about this, man. People were going really nuts. So obviously, it must be Star Wars, right? Is it Star Trek or Star Wars?
Yeah, Star Wars.
Star Wars,
definitely.
Okay. How about you, Marco?
Even though like Star Trek was a TV series,
right,
and Star Wars was a movie, so I guess it's easier to pull a movie than a TV series, right?
I didn't say nothing. Yeah, please, Neri. No, I didn't say nothing.
What I love about
sorry. Go. No, I didn't say nothing because I'm a bit ashamed because I didn't watch both of them. Not because I started, I watched like the first, but to be honest, science fiction, I didn't watch a lot of, probably because those one was very, very famous and very, I always say, okay, I need time to watch this because usually also when I watch like a TV series, I want to watch from the beginning to the end immediately, And then I need time to watch all. But I watched other stuff, but not those. I'm sorry about that.
No, but that's okay, because people like you, in my opinion, have the potential to become the best actors in science fiction, because everything is so different to you and original. It's like, wow, you're so immersed in it. Your feelings or your emotions are so authentic.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to work in that kind of movie. Of course, like, as I worked for Golden Shopping Arcade, but I watched many different sci-fi movie, like Navigator. I remember when I was a kid, or many other, but sometimes I miss, I cannot watch everything.
Of course not. It's okay.
Sure.
But we're saying, Marco, we're saying that actors tend to be better performers in science fiction when they don't know, when they don't have that historical context. A lot of the actors turn out to be really, really good in science fiction when that's the case. There's such an amazing set of examples of this all across the board. Of course you have folks that are like, oh yeah, I remember Star Wars as a kid, but they never played in any of it until like now. And as a result, in my opinion, they become even more authentic of an actor now that they are exposed to it. It's a good thing. That's what it means. So you're you're going to be highly sought after.
Yeah. I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so, right? So
it's always the point to be here and and now, as an actor, that if there is of course you have to study a bit the movement. How could they move in the future as a human being, as the posture and everything. But at the end, is everything about be present in what happened and react, with the new machine and everything. But
Yes. Okay, so we're going to close, and I just have to ask you, what were you, Neri, and Marco, what were your favorite films these past couple of years? What were your favorite films that you liked the most?
In general?
Yeah, in general,
yeah. As I told you, I remember, anyway, as one of the, when I was a kid, I was Navigator, the movie, sci-fi movie. I don't know if you know, probably, yeah?
Flight of the Navigator, right?
Yeah, maybe. In Italian was Navigator. Yeah, I liked very much that when I was a kid. And of course, during my life, I changed, my preferred movie. When I was kids, I remember I grew up knowing everything about Never-Ending Story. I knew the script by heart. And then during the university, I was studying philosophy. Then I loved Ghost Dog, for example, from Jarmusch, The Gardener of Peter Sellers. In general, when I also watched a lot of Nouvelle Vague in France during my studies and European cinema.
Mm-hmm.
And in general, when I watched movie, it was a period I was looking for an actor and watched all the movies, that he did. And but in general, my preferred directors, I can say, to me, is Tarkovsky, Russian one, and Terrence Malick. I love Terrence Malick movies. He's American, US film director, and I had also the very big thanks to have the possibility to work with him. And I did his last movie, and was really, really amazing to work with a director that the point I liked more is usually there is no a good and bad, like precise, like in the characters. When you see the bad guy, you start to see maybe he's a bad guy, but you start to see why he's bad.
Right.
Then you start to start to love him somehow. You start to understand why he's
love for the villain.
his bad came from. And but then he became, and also about Carlo Nonesso and Golden Shopping Arcade, I tried to put some comics, comedian stuff in the darkness, because life is not always dark, it's not always funny, it's all mixed. Then I like to, with Neri and Schino, to put some comedy touch here and there to describe a bit better the mood.
Right. Okay, cool.
And
Cool.
it worked. Yeah. No, what I loved about Marco and what he did for the movie is that he added that comedic, is that a word? Comedic relief? Kind of.
Comedy relief. He added
comedy relief. Yeah, he kind of gave a character, because we hadn't thought the character in a funny way. Like he made it funny with his body, and even some jokes. Like he even made up some jokes. So
he's saying, I have a funny body.
No, but that's what I noticed, and as I told you, in DC, like and also in France, like a lot of people told me that they really liked his acting because he's so expressive, and even if you don't know what he's saying, you still know what he's saying.
The body language is telling you what's.
yeah, exactly. Which is very good Italian, job. I guess.
Yeah, very good job, Marco. Very good job. Excellent. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for spending time with me. I know it's in the late hour there on the other side of the pond, but thank you so much for spending time, and we look forward to reaching out to you again. The awards party is next weekend, where we announce all of the awards publicly across the internet. So we hope everybody will be present for that. But once again, thank you so much, and you all enjoy the rest of your night. Keep making great film. It was really good. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you
Okay,
Good night.
right. Stand by now. Stand by.
Ciao, Marco.
Ciao.